Well, hello, y'all. Happy Saturday night. Well, whatever day of the week you're watching this, okay? For me, it is Saturday. I'm recording this on December 6th, but I watched the episode that aired on Thursday, and the episode I am talking about is season 15, episode 1 of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, okay? Now, before I get into everything, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell so that you are notified whenever I upload a video. And okay, so I'm not sure if I have the capability to be hyped because I did ask for you all to do that for me. If I don't, that's fine. Take the L until I can get more subscribers to qualify, I guess. I'm not sure if you need a certain amount of subscribers to do so, but I'll look into that. But if so, please don't forget to also hype your girl, okay? Okay. It's your girl D Green 2.0, and I am glad to be talking to y'all again. So, our favorite 90210 ladies are back. Okay, so we got Miss Kyle Richards. Still in the thick of her. I can't quite call it a divorce because I honestly don't think that they are divorced or really gonna get divorced. Mauricio and Kyle. Then you have Miss Erica, Miss Erica Jane, who I have I'd like to say I have somewhat of a mixed relationship with Erica. Like I like Erica, but then there are times when I don't like Erica. Like when Erica first burst onto the scene, season 6, I dug her because she was different for Beverly Hills at the time. And then when everything happened with her, now she is divorced, I believe. I think they're divorced. I'm not quite sure. But when everything happened with her husband, Tom Girardi, all that legal stuff, I saw an ugly side of Erica come out. Funny thing though, at the time when all of that was happening with Erica, I was married. My husband was here, and so I had a different point of view. Some things have changed now since I've become a widow. One thing being, while I didn't agree with how vitriolic Erica was, like, I mean, she was ugly. She was nasty. Some of the things that she said in relation to the victims and having to look out for herself. At that time, I did not agree with that because I was like, okay, well, she's a representative for what's going on the show, so she needs to answer for it to some degree. But now I'm looking back and I totally understand her. Like when you're left to fight on your own, you can't care about anybody else. As, grimy as it may sound, that's the truth because that's where I am right now. Like now I don't have my husband, and if let's say something came back, for by way of him and then I had to deal with it, oh, I would probably be handling it the same way as Erica, like fighting for my life, regardless of how people feel about it. So like I said, I got a mixed relationship with Erica. Then you got Mr. Reed, a little cute thing. She's in the process of getting divorced from her husband, PK. He was a topic of discussion tonight. We'll get into that. Then you have Kathy kind of, being Kathy. She's just there as a supporting character, but she's got so much, of a presence because of her name and who she is. They keep her around. You got Sutton, who is now Sans Garcelle, so she's gonna have to stand on her own, which buck up, girl. I think she can. If Sutton stays true to herself, doesn't fold, and it's just authentic and honest, and I think she'll be okay, because something tells me she's gonna be somewhat of a target this season. Like they brought up a couple things, a few of the girls, that I was like, oh shoot, all right, so they about to take you to task, so I hope you're ready. And then last but not least, but my favorite, Miss Bozoma St. John. Woo, woo, woo. All right, so I'm just gonna let y'all know, until conditions sway me otherwise, until something that is just beyond this earth, until something happens that just rocks the nation, okay? This is a Bozoma Stan channel. No, she is not paying me. I have met Bose. I attended her badass workshop here in Atlanta back in March. Got to have a nice little conversation with her about her showing up on my radar at a time in my life where I needed it, because Bozema is also a widow. We all know this. And, she had to start over with her daughter. She was married to a white man. My late husband was white. She's raising a biracial child. I am too, a girl. I'm also raising a girl. Leia lost her dad. That's Bozema's daughter at 4. My daughter lost her father at 7. So I have a lot of similarities to Bozema. And seeing someone like that, and I've said this because I have a playlist for Bozema if you're interested to check that out. I kind of break it down, and I actually recapped her book too. Seeing someone represent that on reality TV was something that was foreign for me. I hadn't seen it before. So it was nice to see someone she's still relatively young. Like, she's 48, but that's still young to me. She looks good. She's thriving. She's picked up the pieces. Oh, and another component that connects me with her is Bozema was a corporate titan, and I myself work in corporate America. So it's like we have all of these like similarities, and it's just nice to see that type of representation. Plus, she's fabulous. She's cool. She could dress. She's sexy. She's funny. She's an air sign. I'm a Gemini. She's an Aquarius. So if you don't like Bose, this ain't the channel for you. Unless something changes, which I highly doubt that, because I just feel so like related. She's so relatable for me, and I admire her. It's not gonna happen, okay? I'm not gonna dislike her. I know a lot of people don't like her because of what happened with Garcelle last season, but we can't put that on her. We can't put our shit on to Bozema. I hate that we do that, and I know most of the fans that are doing that look like Bozema, Garcelle, and myself, okay? So, so my girl's back, Bozema. And yeah, I'm just going to stop bigging her up. Y'all, I'm just letting y'all know off rip, first episode of this season, that's my girl. So, if you do not like her, this is not the channel for you, all right? And if you like her, welcome. Come on, let's celebrate our girl together, okay? All right, so with that being said, let me go ahead and get started on the recap of the episode. Of course, you know me. I took some notes, 4 pages. Not a lot happened. Well, it was more of like an introductory episode, kind of like, picking up where they left off last season and letting us know where the girls are. Speaking of which, I almost forgot Rachel Zoe. So Bozema wasn't last. Rachel Zoe. She has now joined the cast, and I think I'm also going to like Rachel. I like that Rachel is a scion of a lot of traits that I can relate to. Rachel's very blunt, but at the same time, she's tender in her delivery. Like, she's not disrespectful. She's very strong, but I could tell she's very vulnerable. I also did, when I was looking at her face, I can tell she hasn't done a lot of work to her face. She looks natural to me. And she's in her 50s. She's recently getting divorced too. Wow. Okay, so we got Dorit, Kyle, Erica, and Rachel, all dealing with divorces, new divorces. So this is going to be pretty heavy, hence the hot girl summer that they're going to be tackling, which is the name of the episode, by the way, Hot Girl Summer. Shout out to you, Megan Thee Stallion. All right, so now we can get into the episode. So like I said, this episode is titled Hot Girl Summer. They have an opening montage. You have Sutton on her horse. You have Erica washing a car with some heels. You have, who was it? Who else was it? Oh, Dorit shopping, going into Hermes. You have my boo being photographed, Bozema. And then you have Kyle calling her daughter Alexia, who is preparing for her wedding this season. So that's probably going to be most of Kyle's storyline, is working with Alexia on her wedding. Then we get to a scene with Bozema and Lael at her house. They're setting up snacks because Dorit's going to come over. That's actually what she was doing. She was shopping for Bozema at her Hermes for Bozema's birthday gift, which I was like, I mean, I get it. Yeah, that can happen. You forget to give things to your friends. But if they're filming this in June, Bozema's birthday was in August. I mean, I'm sorry, not August. February? No, January. Oh my God, I'm tired, y'all. Sorry. But yeah, I'm like, you haven't seen her? I thought you traveled with her. You didn't see her to give her the gift? So, anywho, I'm like, do y'all really be hanging like that? We'll see. All right, so you got Bozema in the kitchen with Leo, laying out the snacks. And then in the confessional, you have, and this is why I say this hanging with, by the way, side note. You have Dorit in the confessional saying that Bozema and her have gotten really close over the years. She is someone that she talks to on a regular basis, probably one of the first people she calls in the morning. Then you get my girl in a confessional, like, she sends these 17-minute voice notes sometimes. I was like, Bozema. Oh, Lord. Okay, I hope you have shared that sentiment with her, Bozema, because if that hasn't been addressed, I'm sure someone's going to bring that up at the reunion, that you were kind of trash talking Dorit in a confessional. I'm fair, okay? I'm fair. I still love my girl, though, but I was like, that was a little... I was side-eyeing you when you said that, Boz, but I'm sure, you know, with good reason, they bonded. You know, they probably have that type of relationship where they can kind of, you know, josh with each other. So anyway... So, let me see. Yeah, I said 17 minutes voice note. So then, Dorit arrives, gives her the gift, says that she's been meaning to give it to her. And then they start to discuss a photo that was leaked of PK, Dorit's soon-to-be ex-husband, in the media kissing another woman. In the confessional, Bozema says, oh, when I saw PK with this Shein version of Dorit, because the lady looked a little bit like Dorit, she said she almost threw up in her mouth a little bit. And so her and Dorit are talking about it. Dorit says that day the picture leaked, she had actually filed. And then the following day, they had to go to their son's game. I forget if it was baseball or football. And they show a snippet of them at the game, sitting on the bleachers. You have, I'm going to try to, you know, illustrate this as best as I can to give you the visual. So you have PK, because she said she couldn't even look at him. She was so disgusted. PK sitting behind her, Dorit sitting right here. So Dorit's more towards the front. So there's tension. I mean, rightfully so. These men are reckless. It's like when you know you are dealing with that and you know it's a sensitive topic and you know you live in the bustling city of LA, you know there's paparazzi. I mean, maybe PK didn't know. I don't know. But I just feel like you should be more respectful in how you handle, like if you're dealing with a divorce, especially if there are children involved. The fact that Mauricio and PK are just out here living it up, getting photographed, they have, in my opinion, no dick discipline, no regard for their family, and they too old to be acting like that. Okay? Get your shit together. Get your shit together. I just noticed I have a little bit of a glow. So side note, if you read my channel description, you know I title myself as a neurodivergent diva because I do have neurological epilepsy. I've had it in the past, so it does affect my thought pattern. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So my face is it is glowing because I got a micro needling session done, and I have been applying the aftercare stuff to it, and I'm noticing that it's starting to glow. I had to put a little Aquaphor on it so that I don't get a pill, but I can tell it's starting to scab a little bit right here. So can't wait to see what the results look like in the next 2 weeks. You know, I'm recapping the Beverly Hills girls, you know, same type of treatments, right? All right, back to the episode. Sorry, y'all. So anyway, so then Dorit says in the confessional that PK had the nerve to ask for joint custody. She thinks it's strategic because she's lived with him. She knows him. She says the type of lifestyle he has, he is not going to be in a position to be with the kids half of the time. He's barely there. And that's how they handled it throughout their marriage. PK was always traveling and Dorit was always left with the kids. So, I mean, there you go. And then they bring up Kyle reaching out 4 days later once the news hit that Dorit had filed. Now, I understand, given Dorit and Kyle's history, and I did not watch last season, but I did listen to a lot of recaps, and I did watch the reunion because I just wanted to see what this stuff was with Garcelle, truth be told. For Dorit to expect Kyle to call her immediately after the news hit, I really don't think that is necessary. I mean, Kyle did call you within a week, and that does not mean that she doesn't care, because she cared enough to call you, right? So for you to expect her to call like hours or a day or whatever, I feel like that's a little bit unjustified. Now, what Dorit says is, okay, when we were at the reunion, we agreed to, try to work on our relationship and come together. So then on the other hand, I can understand why she has that expectation, but baby steps, okay? Baby steps. You both felt, some type of way about you falling out. Give it some time. Give it to her, though. At minimum, she at least did call you, okay? So I don't know. I was like, okay, Dorit, you kind of making me side with Kyle a little bit on this, because, I mean, like I said, she called you. She called you. Appreciate what you got. That's all I gotta say. And yeah, so yeah, I put here solidarity, because that's essentially what Dorit is seeking, is for them to have solidarity, considering they're both going through a divorce. But you can't dictate how people respond, or what the expectations should be. Kyle's going through her shit too. Okay, and she's dealing with, she has 4 daughters, and then she's got one that's about to get married. And their relationship was different. They were together longer, and not to say that Dorit and PK didn't have as much love, but that was Mauricio's first marriage, Kyle's second marriage, but she was really in love with him. They were in love with each other. So there's just differences. And again, she called you. Okay, she called you. So, all right, next scene, because I'm talking in circles. Shit. All right, so speaking of Kyle, we get to a scene with her at her house with her daughters. They all show up. Sophia and Portia still live at home with Kyle. I think Sophia is like 25 and Portia's 17. Man, I was looking at Portia. I was like, oh my God, that is the same little girl that was in the confessional with Kyle season 1 saying poopy with the little curly hair. And she was little. She got her ears pierced on camera for the first time. I think when she was like 4, and now she is 17 years old. Wow. Wow, do I feel old. I was like, damn, it's been that long. She's got some grown girls. Farrah is 37, I think. Farrah was graduating college from USC the first season. And then Alexia was 10. And Sophia was young. I'm sorry I couldn't quote the age, but I was just looking at all of them like, wow, they got so big, and they all look so much like their parents. Oh, and then Alexia sounds just like Kyle. I was like, when she was talking, I was listening. I'm like, damn, if you close your eyes, you really wouldn't be able to tell who is who when they're speaking. So I'm glad Kyle has that, because, to have all of that feminine energy in your life, you have built-in friends. You have a village when you're going through that transition. I'm sure that's very helpful for Kyle, because I know it hurts Kyle. Yeah, Kyle had a situation with the woman, Morgan, but I don't think that her heart was 100% in that. I think her heart is still with Mauricio. But Mauricio out here living it up like he can give a fuck. All right, so they're talking about the wedding. And then it comes up, I forget which daughter brought it up. I think it was Portia. She asked Alexia if the parents, Mauricio and Kyle, would be bringing dates, and none of the girls are going for it. Sophia had me in stitches. I think Sophia is the Gemini daughter. I have to look up the birth charts, because one of Kyle's daughters is a Gemini, and she was the most vocal, like, hell no, that ain't happening. And then she even said there was one video that, not video, there was one photo that went out of her dad with another woman, and she texted her dad like, look, are you serious? Like, what is going on with you? You're doing the most. And then Portia says her friends, you know, of course, because they're of age where they can see all this stuff, when they bring it up to Portia, Portia just casually says, yeah, my dad is out here being a hoe. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, God, it is not that. You have your freedom, right? So if you're not happy, you've moved on, let that happen. But to just be so reckless to where your actions are not just affecting your ex-wife, they're affecting your daughters. So, Mo. So yeah. So then Kyle says in her confessionals that, yeah, it affects all four of them. You know, we're all going to be strong. Mo better, you know, kind of watch himself because, you know, all four of my daughters are alpha females. So if he keeps pushing it, I'm paraphrasing, but if he keeps pushing it, you know, he's probably going to X himself out. Because they're going to side with their mom. You know, they're all young ladies. They probably have had their share of hiccups with men. And so it's going to transition from children being impacted by the divorce of their parents to them looking at you as young ladies that can relate to their mother as a woman. So you may want to tread lightly, Mo. That's just my opinion on that. All right, next scene. So we have Rachel Zoe. Now, Rachel in her confessional says she's not new to Bravo. She's lived here before, which she did have a show. I think it was called the Rachel Zoe Project. I didn't watch it. I wasn't really into it, but I would catch like commercials here and there, and I would see her and her husband, who I know it did cross my mind. Like I said, I didn't watch the show, so I wasn't as invested to even care. But when I did see him, it did cross my mind because there's been, you know, discussion about, you know, maybe him being a little fluid, if you know what I mean. And just certain things that, like the way he presents himself, and I hate to sound like ignorant, you know, saying that there's mannerisms associated with that, but there can be mannerisms associated with fluidity. So I was like, I always wondered, like, are they swingers? And she lets him do his thing on the other side, and she could do her thing on the other side. But anyway. All right, so Rachel Zoe is heading over to Kathy's house. So Rachel Zoe is a friend of Kathy Hilton. She's also a friend of Kyle's, but it seems that Kathy is the one that is bringing her on. And she says that she actually knows Kathy through Paris. Paris Hilton is Kathy's daughter. She used to style her back in the early 2000s. So Rachel was hitting the streets and styling people. She was on the scene in New York back in the early 2000s. That's kind of how she got her start. She also discusses how she's got 40 licensed brand deals. And I do see her products in stores. So homegirl's doing pretty good, you know, in her career with her money and stuff. And, you know, but her love life, that husband of hers, Roger, they were together 33 years, married for 26. After 18 years, had their first child. And now they are separating. They're divorcing. And they have been separated, I guess, for a year at this point of filming. Rachel says in the confessional he has a girlfriend that he's been with a year. And one of the producers, you know, asked the obvious question. And Rachel's like, you do the math. So I don't know if he was having an affair on her and then he got with homegirl. But yeah. So their separation has not been the most amicable, which I could imagine. And yeah, she just says she's just learned to live with it the best that she can. But as she's talking about it, this is what I liked about her. That's what I said. I think I'm gonna like her. She's not trying to come off arrogant. She's not trying to come off with any airs of I'm above it. And she's not sugarcoating shit about what happened with them. She is letting it be known. You know, it hurt me. It kind of broke me. It seems to really be authentically reflecting on what's happening with her relationship or with her marriage. And yeah, she's just willing to be truthful and vulnerable about it. And I like that. I like that about her. So I'm interested to see what how her story is going to play out this season. So she's helping Kathy prepare for a wedding that she's going to be attending in Rome because, you know, she is a stylist and Kathy is one of her friends. And so she brings over, I think it was a Gucci bag, an old Gucci bag. But it was cute. It was a cute bag. And then, yeah, she was telling Kathy in the scene that they, you know, they were always different. She even likened it to her being Saint Bart's and him being Grateful Dead. So they were always not aligned, you know, in a sense with like how they were, but they made it work for that long and they just eventually grew apart. That's the fear. Because like when you listen to her stories, like 33 years, Jesus. Anyway. All right, so next scene. So we have Kyle and Erica. They are preparing to go over to Sutton's house. So these two scenes I'm going to discuss, they're kind of intertwined and then they end up linking together. So then you have Sutton at her home with her mother, Miss Reba, who I heard was a hoot last season. They seem to have softened her image. I was listening to some other recaps and people were saying how it's like night and day this season. They're making Reba out to be this likable old lady that's, you know, hanging with the ladies, whereas last season she came off very Southern Karen, should I say, towards Garcelle. I wonder how, if she gets an opportunity to be around Bose, if we'll see any of that. Because then we'll know if it was more related to Garcelle or if it's more related to other stuff. But anyway, so Sutton's saying that her mother's out there visiting because her youngest is about to graduate from high school. So her youngest, James. And then we get to Erica and Kyle driving en route to Sutton's house. And Erica tells her to take the main road. Because I guess there was a reference by Dorit telling Sutton that she acts like she lives like the Queen of Sheba. She lives off a freaking main road. So that was a throwback to that. I think I missed something. Oh, okay. So when they get there, Sutton says that her and Erica embrace, but she lets us know that her and Erica have had a rocky relationship and they're both still guarded with each other. And she says rightfully so. And then they flash back to multiple scenes, you know, of why they are guarded towards each other. Sutton was a very vocal, and that's kind of how she won over the fans. When Erica was dealing with all that stuff with her husband, Sutton was asking all the pointed questions that we wanted to know. And, you know, that didn't go well with Erica because, you know, Erica's feeling like you're putting me on the spot and trying to dig for information, and I didn't like it. And, you know, Erica ain't no punk. So they had some Erica had some choice words for her. Cursed her out, yelled, got aggressive. It was nasty. But they seem to have somewhat come to a place where they could at least be copacetic with each other amongst the group. But we'll see how that plays out too, because it's never consistent with them. All right, so then they all sit down, and then they bring up Sutton's former assistant, Avi, who no longer works for her. Now, I guess Avi recently showed up somewhere to support Garcelle. So I guess there's some connection with that. But they're asking Sutton what happened. And Sutton says she doesn't need an assistant. And so, you know, she decided to let him go, which I find to be strange. It's like you let Avi go at the same time that your friendship with Garcelle dissolves. So I don't know. We'll see if there is any connection with that, because I mean the girls do have a point to ask. And then let's see, they bring up Garcelle actually because they say lost a friend, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I get it. From Garcelle's point of view, she was always having Sutton's back, and Sutton didn't have her back, parts of last season. But where she didn't have her back, or where Garcelle feels Sutton didn't have her back, I don't know. I feel like it wasn't so much Sutton not having Garcelle's back. It was Sutton protecting how or in what they discussed but amongst each other. I'm trying to recall as best as I can. But okay. So last season, it was brought to the attention of the audience that Sutton and Garcelle discuss the other women when they're not filming, which is normal, right? But I understand Garcelle trying to be real and transparent about that. However, if you're doing that with your friend probably doesn't necessarily want you to bring that to the forefront. So this is why I say I struggle with it, because I understand why they both can feel a way about it. But at the reunion, I get Garcelle felt like Sutton didn't have her back and left her hanging. Because Sutton, and they bring this up, Sutton is one way in the show and in her confessionals, but at the reunions, she always seems to be kind of like mum's the word. And I've noticed that about her. I noticed it season 12 reunion, which I felt she should have spoke up more, because that was a nasty season. I didn't watch season 13 or 14, so I can't say anything. And I'm trying to think back to season 11, because that's when she first became a housewife, if she was vocal at that reunion, because that was a nasty season for her too with Erica. So yeah, there is that. Sutton, when she's on the show, she's the way that she is, but when she's at the reunion, it's almost like she's on a Xanax or a Valium or something and not responding. So I hate that this happened with them, because they were really good. We liked them, as a team, us fans, because they were able to disband that damn Fox Force 5, and they were just the voice of the fans when it came to certain storylines and how they moved them along. So I hate that, they had to break up like that, but we'll see. So they're all talking. Kathy comes to Sutton's house, so they're having a lunch. They all go out there to sit, and there while they're talking, Kathy, I'm watching her in the scene. She does the most random shit. So she's cutting the string from her hat, and then she's also like looking at her reflection in the mirror, in the knife, as if it's a mirror while they're talking. Kathy could not care less. She's just there because of her name. And then, let's see, picture Reba and Kyle. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. There we go. So yeah, so they talk about the photo of PK out kissing another woman. Reba says, I don't find PK attractive. I can't see myself kissing him. And then Sutton says, me and my mother don't normally agree on a lot of things, but we agree on this. I thought that was funny. And then Sutton had a moment to herself, because Kyle mentioned in this scene, well, in PK's defense, I don't think he thought that picture was going to get out. How the fuck you know? How you know? Because, yeah, let's ask this, Sutton. Do you still talk to PK? I thought you said you and Dorit were going to be cool and you were going to respect her and y'all were going to stand in solidarity, because you both were going through something while your husbands are out there wilding out. Why you talking to him? How do you know? So that's the type of shit that Kyle, like, she gets herself in hot water, because you could be friends to both of them, but unless you're saying you don't like Dorit, you do have to pick a side. You do. And in this situation, I would think you would be more inclined to be on Dorit's side. So if you are still talking to PK to the point where you can sit there and say, in defense of him, he didn't think that photo was going to be leaked, no wonder Dorit don't see it for your ass all the time. That's shady. You have to have a sisterhood in this, because your men are out here wilding out, being photographed with women. So y'all could at least try to bond over that, unless there's more to it that we don't know. And if so, we need to know. I mean, there was that rumor of Dorit Mauricio a couple years ago, so I think Kyle might. That might be driving Kyle's motives a little bit, but we won't know. All right, so that was all up on that scene. I don't want to talk anymore about it. We get to a scene with Rachel and her son, her youngest son, Caius, who I'm a fan of. I think he is the most cutest, mature, like well-adjusted, especially considering what he's dealing with both his parents. I mean, some of the stuff he was saying in this scene, like at one point Rachel asked him, she says, do you like girls yet? I don't know why you're asking your son that. Maybe she's picking up on something and trying to feel him out. This cutie says, my hormones haven't kicked in yet. I was like, who are you? You've been here before? So then they're talking, and in the confessional, you know, back and forth between the scene, Rachel's reflecting on her and her soon-to-be ex-husband's relationship, and she said if she had to pinpoint something and if she had any regrets, she would probably say them working together is what hurt their relationship. And I can see that, because then they go into some scenes of him talking to some of the staff of the company and her, and he was a bitch. Like, he was very just mean and condescending and sarcastic, and but at the same time, if he was the CEO or the boss, and I don't know, I can't defend that, the way he was talking to them on camera. Maybe he felt like he had to do that to prove himself. I don't know. But I could see how that could put a strain on your relationship if the nature of communication goes, veers over to disrespectful and trying to break people down. That I wouldn't feel comfortable either. Rachel said that too, how, you know, he began to turn into someone that she didn't feel comfortable around, and, you know, basically like he wasn't a safe space for her anymore. And yeah, that could hurt a relationship, poor communication. I was telling my ex this. If you've watched my previous videos, you know I speak very fondly of my ex. He was the man that I was with after my husband passed away. So he's considered one of my great loves. But he and I are in a better place now. We were able to talk, and I was telling him that, like, if I could do it all over again, I would. But that communication, your communication just didn't work for me. And he's a lot younger than me, so it's like, okay, I'm in my 40s, you're in your 30s. At my age, I know life ain't rainbows and you know, ponies, but I've been through enough drama in my teens, my 20s, and my 30s. In my 40s, I'm not trying to have drama and not be peaceful. You know, so if you can't communicate and it's peaceful, I don't need it. So I understand Rachel on that one. Your peace of mind and your happiness, that's important. That's important. And she mentions that too, because someone, one of the producers asked her if she missed having a man in the house, and she said no. Not coming off with any airs though. You know, I'm laughing at it, but she wasn't saying that to be funny. She was saying that to just explain, I don't, because you know, I'm able to be happy. I'm at peace. I no longer come home and I'm sad. I come home and my emotions are regulated, and, you know, I'm able to have a clear head and you know, rest and be okay in my own space. And so I like Rachel, man. I like her. I hope, you know, I hope nothing changes to the point that makes me not like her, because I'm digging her story so far. So, like I said, mature for his age. He's 11. He even notices that there's been changes with his father. She asks him in the scene if he likes his father. He says yes. And she's just looking at him as she's asking him real intently to kind of read his body language, which I didn't see any issue with that. Her son doesn't seem like he would, you know, try to hide how he really feels. And then the little man drops another gem at the end of this scene. And I wanted to quote this, because I was like, who is he listening to? Like, who said this in front of him? And where is he getting this from? Because this boy is wise beyond his years. He says, real love isn't easy, and easy love isn't real. And I said, yes. Yes. So good for you, Caius. Good for you, Caius and Rachel. All right, so we get to my boo, Bose and Erica. They're at a dinner scene. Now, Erica's telling Bose they're catching up on things that's been going on with them, and Erica speaks about an event she performed at Hoopla something, I think in London. And she said the day of her performance, though, it was announced that Tom had been sentenced for his crimes. So just to debrief you in case you are watching my video for the first time and you are not familiar with what's going on. So Erica Jane, her married name was Erica Girardi, was married to a lawyer, or still married. It's still not clear to me if they're divorced. But Tom Girardi was the lawyer. Now Tom Girardi, his character, there was a character modeled after him in the Aaron Brockovich movie. So that character was based on Tom. All right, so now fast forward. So Tom, representing, you know, people who have been wrongfully treated, or, you know, class action lawsuits against these major companies, did that type of work. Now, what he was doing was he was stealing money from the victims, and these people were not getting paid their money that was owed to them out of these settlements. So, and it went deep to the point where he had relationships with the California State Bar, okay, the police, and it was just like this big cover up. His firm ended up getting shut down. There was an investigation, of course, and now he's having to pay the price for those crimes. And also, if you don't know this, Tom is in his 80s. That's crazy. God cover me. You never know what can happen in your life. You never know. 80 something years old going to prison. I mean, your quality of life is just shot at that point. But anyway, so back to Erica. So they're talking, and she says in the confessional that it's surreal for her, in a sense, and I'm paraphrasing. But Tom's situation is ending, and hers is ongoing. And it's strange because she says, with everything that's going on, she really doesn't more or less feel the need to say goodbye. Because if she does that, is that goodbye giving her closure or opening up the door for more questions? And in this situation, I understand that sentiment 100%, because it's like, okay, he's about to go to jail. He's in his 80s. What happened, happened. You had to go what you went through, you know, on national television. It was in the news. Like, people, I mean, let sleeping dogs lie. I'm with you, Erica. Yeah, it could be traumatic to have to end something that abruptly like that. You know, you were with him for a long time. But, I mean, what else is there left to say? There's really nothing left to say. I get it. So, Bowles then tells her, when they go out of the confessional, she's explained all this. So then that means we need to get busy. Because, you know, Erica needs to move on and start dating other people. And then Bowles says, you know, I heard this rumor, right? So I guess there was a rumor that Miss Thang got busy with a younger Bravo celebrity, who I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'm going to look up, because I wish I would have did some research to bring it to this video, but I'm going to research and maybe try to draw conclusions as to who it could possibly be. Maybe she did an appearance with someone. Maybe she was in New York, Watch What Happens Live. Same time someone else was there. I don't know. Or maybe she was appearing on Watch What Happens Live, or doing something there when maybe somebody, you know, was on Watch What Happens Live or filming something in New York. Who knows? But I'm going to investigate to see if maybe I could land somewhere. Wish me luck. So then they start talking about the other girls. And they bring up the whole Avi situation with Sutton. They bring up Sutton. They bring up Garcelle briefly. Bowles says that, will the real Slim Sutton please stand up? Because there's two versions of Sutton. So like I was saying earlier, when she's on the show, in scene, she's venomous. Like she will, you know, she could be the nastiest, most cutting, and she can. Sutton gives it as well as she gets it. But at the reunion, she's like mute. And so they're just trying to figure out who she is. And they're all interested to see who she is without having Garcelle and Avi, you know, maybe have an impact on her. They want to see if she can stand on her own and how she shows up. So I do remember people saying this in the recap, Sutton, your turn is coming, because they weren't happy with how she treated Garcelle. And yeah, it looks like they're going to give it to you. They're going to gang up on you. So I hope you're ready, girl. Get your dukes up. So, let's see. Oh, so then when Bo said, "Well, the real Slim Sutton, please stand up," you know, Slim Shady thing. Erica throws shade. She says, "Slim." She ain't slim, more like box. And then she says, "I'm going to hell." And Bowles agrees. She says, "Yes, you're going to hell." Fucking Erica. All right. So now we got this last scene. Kyle is hosting a like a garden. I think it was it a garden party? Hold on. Yeah, garden party, like a summer party at her house. All of these ladies have nice houses. They do. They do. Rachel has a nice house. Kathy has a nice house. Bowles has a beautiful, colorful house. Now, that's one thing I don't do that Bowles does. Bowles has a lot of color in her house. I'm more of a monochromatic. Like, I'll have accents here and there. Like, my living room is blue. My room is leopard, black, and white, and, like, feline theme. My bathroom is also feline theme. But for the most part, I like it simple. I like it minimalistic, and I like it clean. So, like, you know, Rachel's house, I like that. Dorit's house is very, like, my style. And Erica has, like, a small house that she lives in the back of a larger house. But her house is cute. You know, they all got cool houses. Sutton's house is typical Beverly Hills. Her and Kyle. I do like Kyle's kitchen. I love those blue cabinets with the gold hardware. Oh my gosh, that is so nice. I actually did, so her blue, I don't, it's not quite the same blue I have. I have like a ocean blue, like a dark blue. I painted the kitchen cabinets over at my rental property. Inspired by something I saw similar to that in California when I stayed at an Airbnb. I just like that. I like that blue cabinetry with like gold or silver hardware accents. I think that is like the best. I might even paint my house cabinets like that, but I'm about to rent it out, so I don't want to put no more money into it. But anyway, back to the scene. So they're getting ready for the scene. They show a little montage of all the girls getting ready. You've got Rachel slaying in the mirror. She's already dressed, looking good, ready to go. You got Bowles getting her hair done, and then you got Sutton getting her makeup and her hair done. She's on the phone with Kyle. They're just talking about everything, and, you know, Kyle is also one that wants to see how Sutton's going to be without Garcelle. She asks Sutton if they're going to be okay, her and Dorit, because Dorit and Sutton had a pretty bad season last season. And Sutton's coming from a place of, I'm okay. I'm not going to pile on her. She's already dealing with enough. So she's backing off. So I think we're going to see that with Sutton. I don't know. We'll see when it comes to Dorit, now that she doesn't have Garcelle. And then, yeah, that ends that phone call. So then we get to Kyle. She has to go out and check on the party. And they're showing everybody preparing for the party. So she's got different vendors there. They're in the kitchen preparing the food. I was looking and I was like, how many people are going to be at this party? Like, I know the cast is obviously going to be there. That's about 7 or 8 people. But then I was like, that's a lot of food for just 7 people. How many people will be there? And then as the scene progressed, more people did show up. So as she's checking on everything, though, this made me think of my girl Carlton from season 4, because there was a scene in season 4 where Kyle got really crazy over a bee because she has bad allergies to bees. And so a bee appeared in this scene and she's like, oh, a bee. And then she runs off. I just wanted to bring that up because it made me think of Carlton. And in case you're wondering, so in the scene with Carlton season 4, I think they were at Kyle's house. So it was Carlton, Kyle, and two other people. Sorry, I don't remember who it was in this scene. But Carlton was telling a story, and she had already been irritated with Kyle at that point. But midway through the story, Kyle is distracted because there's a bee there. We, at that point, the audience hadn't realized that she has such a severe allergy to bees. So in the scene, she kills the bee, and that just like just Carlton. I get it because I'm connected to the earth too. Like I'm a little, I'm not a witch, but I like to joke and say I'm a white witch or a natural witch because I do appreciate nature. Like if there's a bug in my house, like I don't kill spiders. If they're in the corners, I let them stay in the corners because I'm like, they're just going to kill the other bugs for me. So you can hang out in the corners. Ladybugs, I let them out. These stink bugs in Georgia, I let them out. Cockroaches. Now I will kill a cockroach. That's the enemy. So in the scene, Carlton was offended because she's like, I appreciate nature. For her to kill this bug in its natural habitat, that just destroyed me. And I'm like, I mean, I like Carlton, but I was like, that's a little much. You're just trying to fuck with her for, for the smallest thing. So anyway, back to now, season 15, episode 1 at this party. So Faye arrives with someone named Anna. Faye Resnick is Kyle's friend. Faye Resnick also made a bit of a splash in seasons before, and she's infamously known to have been the friend that was running the streets with Nicole Simpson before she passed away. In fact, she actually wrote a book about the dalliances she and Nicole shared with each other and how they partied together. And then she posed for Playboy. So she's a friend of Kyle's. She has arrived with someone named Anna. I don't know who Anna is. And then Kyle thought that Anna was Dorit because I guess they look similar to each other. I didn't really see it, but I could see, I guess, if the sun's in your eyes, Kyle, I could see how that happens. I don't know. But then, speaking of Dorit, Dorit then arrives. And then we have Bose in the car on the way there with Lael, her aunt, and Keely. And Keely asks in the car if there are going to be other men there, and Bose just lets him know, ain't no other men. Because, yeah, no one has boyfriends or husbands. So let's go down the list again. Sutton is single. Rachel is in the middle of a divorce. Dorit, Kyle, and Erica as well. I think Erica does have someone, but they haven't launched him yet, because I've seen in the media that she's dating either a former government official or someone that had high rank in the military or was a cop or law enforcement, something. She's dating someone that is a little older and more her speed. But I don't know at this point in the show if they're dating yet. I think so, because I'm trying to think, when did I see these pictures out there? I think it was top of the summer, and this is filmed in June. So yeah, I guess at this point Erica is dealing with somebody. So but yeah, they all are single except for Bose. Bose has a now fiance. At that time, they weren't engaged yet, but they've since gotten engaged. And yeah, Faye is married, but Faye's not a main housewife. So yeah, ain't no boys gonna be there for you, Keely. All right, so Dorit and Sutton. So back to Kyle's house. So Kyle is asking Dorit about Sutton and what she's expecting and how the relationship's going to go. In the confessional, Dorit says she has no interest in going there, but if she goes there, she being Sutton, Dorit will gladly meet her there. And I definitely understand that energy. So Sutton arrives, and everything was good. No tension, nothing. So of course they're asking her questions. This was brought up in that scene with Kathy, Reba, Erica, and Kyle, but I didn't mention it. So Sutton tells the group, because 30 minutes prior to her sharing this with the group, Kyle and the group were discussing this, how she's getting an annulment. That is strange. I didn't realize you can do that. So through the Catholic Church, I guess you can apply for an annulment even if you've been married to someone for more than a year, have had children with them, so you've obviously consummated the marriage and you pretty much built a life. And I was thinking, I was like, because the former husband is the one that put in this application to basically remove her name. So she's no longer Sutton Strack. She's back to her maiden name, Sutton Brown. And then I was thinking, why would someone want to do that? Like, your kids share the same name, so why would you want to remove the name? Either you want to get married again. Is that going to affect the outcome of the settlement? Like, what would be the reason? If you have any idea, please leave it in the comments, because that is a foreign concept to me. I've never heard of anyone getting an annulment after being married for 17 years and then going through a divorce and you guys have children, adult children no less. So I don't know. That was interesting though. I didn't realize the Catholic Church allow for that to happen. So so then the obvious thing comes up for Sutton, which is Avi and Garcelle. Because the ladies just want to figure out what the common denominator is you, Sutton, but what was the issue? Why, of all times, would you lose both of them around the same time? So why do you think that is? They're going to be probing the shit out of Sutton this season. And in the confessional, Sutton gets emotional because I think it was Dorit that asked Sutton if Garcelle and hers relationship was more of an alliance than a friendship. And Sutton says no, and she doesn't like it when people ask her that because she really did love Garcelle. And I believe that, I really do. It's just reality TV shit. And if I'm being honest, I like Garcelle, but I think Garcelle's being ultra sensitive. I'm going to say it. I think she's taking it a little bit too personal and expecting a little bit too much from Sutton. Yes, Sutton could have handled things differently, but to throw away your relationship that easily and walk away. I mean, Garcelle is a fire sign. That's how fire signs are. Leos, Aries, and Sagittarius. That's just how they are. But yeah, Garcelle, you might want to like lighten up. Because Sutton did say that she tried to reach out to you and you just never answered. Sutton says she learned through the media that Garcelle had unfollowed her. I guess Garcelle unfollowed a lot of the castmates, if not all of them, but I think she still follows Kyle. I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, Garcelle leaving the way that she did, that's unfortunate because she has such a strong running. So for it to end that way, that's sad. So Kyle says that Sutton is different one-on-one. The group just wants consistency. I already said that. Kathy and Rachel arrive. And like I said, I'm going to like me some Rachel. So Bose and Rachel actually know each other because Rachel featured Bose on her podcast. And Bose says she knows her out socially as well. I could see that because, okay, if Rachel is a brand, like she's got so many brands out there, you know, she like I said, she's got 40 licensed deals, right? It would make sense how her and Bose would know each other outside of just the podcast and this show, because that's what Bose's focus was in corporate America, was marketing. So they probably crossed paths somewhere along their professional lives, you know. Bose is the shit. So she's met a lot of people. She's met Kendrick Lamar, I've seen before. She's worked with Beyonce in the past before. You know, Bose, that's my girl. All right, so Dorit and Rachel. So they both are going through divorces. They're talking about it. And they start to ask Dorit if she has told the children. Dorit's given this roundabout answer, not direct. At one point, she says that her son knows, but her daughter doesn't know. Then she's not clear when they ask her again in a different way if they know. Then she says that she did have a conversation with her son and he was flippant about it. So, do the children know? And then Sutton says in her confessional, just tell the kids. Don't wait until they're 35 and say, kids, it's time. I thought that shit was funny because I agree. It's like, hey, tell them. Let them know. Let them know what's going on. The best thing you can do is serve your children with the truth. If they're going to go through adversity, right? This divorce is their first form of adversity. I'm just speaking from a position of having to raise a child after they have lost their father. She went through something tragic, right? Once that happened for me, I couldn't sugarcoat shit for her anymore because now I'm the sole parent. So I have to raise her in the same way as if her dad was around, but then also guide her and have open discussion about a lot of things because I don't want her finding out by way of other kids or other adults. I mean, she's not going to learn everything from me. I'm going to miss some shit, right? But what I'm trying to say is when that child has already experienced adversity, and these kids are going to, and if these videos and these pictures are circulating about their dad, at one point they're going to see something. I mean, if Jagger's 11 and Phoenix is either 8 or 9, these kids are not stupid. Like they probably got friends that have access to the internet if they themselves don't have access to the internet, and they see what's going on. So if Dorit is trying to avoid saying it out loud for herself, then there's that denial. But you can only shield those kids for so long, so you may as well just tell them and be the soft landing place for them. Kids are a lot smarter than we give them credit for. I know when I was a certain age, you know, people treated me like I was just some background character, and all along I'm like, I'm all in it. I know what the hell's going on. So I definitely don't agree with, like, subject your children to what you can, but don't ever underestimate what you think they may or may not know. So that's why you just gotta just let it be known. But anyway, so I was watching, okay, so Kyle does this thing with her face. She always has this smirk when she's like listening to someone, as if she wants to, like she's having an inside laugh, but she doesn't believe what you're saying. She had that going on when Dorit was talking about the kids knowing. And I'm like, Kyle, you look so fucking smug. All right, so then Rachel, this, I was like, I like her. So Rachel was blunt. She says, you know, good for you that this is happening, because they're all talking about, you know, the kids and the picture and all that, And Rachel's like, look, it would have happened in 5 years anyway. So good riddance right now. And she wasn't trying to be, you know, insensitive or be a bitch. She was just, she's leveling with her because Rachel's going through it herself. And the delivery, while it was blunt, it was still careful to consider how it may come off to Dorit, because I think we could all see that Dorit is still hurting behind this. Like, yes, she's going through it, but she didn't want this. And so when she said that to her, she still had that in mind. I felt, maybe you felt differently. And then they talk about how PK, I guess when he saw how Mauricio was living it up in the streets, PK was like, oh, let me follow. So I guess they're trying to put the blame on Mauricio inspiring PK to file for divorce. And then Erica says in the scene, hold up. First of all, PK is a bona fide international party boy. He don't need no inspiration of any kind. He's actually the person that's probably in the running. Which, yeah, she's right. She's right, because PK, when Erica first came on the scene, when Dorit first came on the scene, because she came season 7, that's how her and Dorit had a situation. Freaking PK was looking between Erica's legs and realized she didn't have any panties, so that dude has always been problematic. So no, it ain't Mauricio. Now together they're not good influences on one another, but no, you can't put PK acting out on Mauricio. PK ain't got no fucking problem acting out on his own. I agree with Erica. And then they asked Kyle how she feels about Mo's photo circulating. And Kyle says when she saw the first one, of course, it stung, but now she's become desensitized to it. Now it's like, oh, no different than me brushing my teeth and drinking water. Which is sad that she's had to adjust and like get used to that. It's like, Mauricio, like, stop it. Anyway. So then, oh, they're talking to Kyle about having a social life. So Kyle says, because they asked if she was single or dating anybody, Kyle says she's single. And she says she's comfortable staying in her house, not going out. And I agree with Rachel on this. Rachel told her, you need to get out at least 3 times a week, you know, because it's a part of the healing process. And it really is. Now, I agree with Rachel when she said when you go out and then when you come home, you feel better when you go to sleep and then you wake up, because your life is not so routinely having to recover from whatever disappointment or whatever you're grieving, right? I am in that same situation because I am grieving still the loss of my husband, the loss of my relationship, and in my relationship we got pregnant. So I had to grieve that too. Not to mention dealing with all of the new responsibilities, having to take on now my husband's role and my new role, because not only am I a widow, but I decided to fucking get involved in real estate and I'm still trying to climb the corporate ladder. So I have all these newfound responsibilities. The mindset shift and the alignment, and then, you know, trying to heal yourself. That is hard. That is. So you do need outlets. You do. Going out, whatever it is. This is part of how I got started, you know, with my YouTube recaps, is I needed another outlet. And then I started going back to the gym. So Kyle's not drinking, which is good, but Rachel's right. Like, you got to get out. 3 times might be a little excessive, but at least 1 time a week. Do something for yourself. Go out. So I hope, you know, Kyle takes heed to that and takes into consideration what Rachel's trying to say. So then Rachel says that they need to have a hot girl summer. Everybody need to have a hot girl summer. You know, this is a start of the summer party. And then Dorit's like, yeah, I want to have a hot girl summer. I'm down for that. I'm down for that for you too, Dorit. I mean, you still attractive. You could pull a rich white dude or a rich older man or whatever your taste is. You still fine. And so, yeah, they end the episode talking about their hot girl summer. Then they go into the super trailer and there's this montage of them just traveling to different places throughout the summer. Arizona, Italy, I forget, there were some other places. But yeah, they indeed are going to have a hot girl summer. And I can't wait to see it. And yeah, that's where we are with our 90210 girls. This was a super episode, so this is why my recap is a little long. Even though I only have 4 pages of notes, there was a lot of material. The episode was 1 hour and 15 minutes, so pretty lengthy. But yeah, that's where we are with our girls. I can't wait to see how this is going to pan out for them. So I'll be talking to you guys next week about episode 2. It's your girl D Green 2.0. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell, tell people about my channel, show me some love, and I appreciate you all for rocking with me, okay? All right, peace and blessings to you. I'm gonna get some rest so I can go to church tomorrow. All right, love you guys. Bye.